What happens when scientists uncover something truly chilling? Well, you get a mix of astonishment and dread as experts dive into these mysterious and unsettling discoveries.
What happened? How did we become the globe-girdling, space-traveling species that we are today?
So, from eerie depictions to cryptic symbols, join me as in today's video, I'm going to reveal the newly discovered cave paintings that have scientists on edge.
These early artists were leaving messages to future generations.
A means to communicate to you and me 100,000 years away.
1. Apollo 11. Cave, Namibia. Back in 1969, right when astronauts were moonwalking, German archaeologist Wee Went stumbled upon something out of this world down in Namibia. Named after that historic moon landing, the Apollo 11 cave turned out to be a treasure trove with some of the oldest doodles in Africa. Yeah, ancient rock art dating back a wild 27,500 years. Tucked away in the Huns Mountains, accessing this spot isn't a walk in the park.
Okay, that's a very hard journey getting here.
Went unearthed these 7 quartzite slabs sketched with animals in charcoal and ochre, making them pretty much the OGs of representational art on the continent. Imagine felines and bovids detailed so finely, preserved under sediment through ages. And here's the kicker. These ancient artworks are shaking up the science world. They're forcing scientists everywhere to rethink all they thought they knew about when and how our ancestors started getting their art on. 2. Cosquer Cave, France. Tucked away near Marseille, France, lies the spine-chilling Cosquer Cave, stumbled upon by diver Henri Cosquer in 1985. Plunge 37 meters below the surface, and you're in a submerged world from around 27,000 to 19,000 years ago. This eerie underwater grotto holds over 500 ancient artworks, from horses and bison to seals and other sea critters.
Many of the prehistoric images depict animals, especially horses, bison, and great auks.
Yeah, this place was once beachfront property, believe it or not. Initially, folks were skeptical about Cosquer's claims, but it turns out this place is as legit as the famous Lascaux and Chauvet caves, but just way wetter. Time's running out though, with rising sea levels threatening to swallow it whole.
But it's a treasure doomed to disappear because of rising water levels. Within a few decades, the cave will be completely flooded.
To save its secrets, researchers have whipped up a digital replica for safe shoreside viewing in Marseille. 3. Tassili N'Ajjer, Algeria. Deep in the heart of Algeria's Sahara Desert lies the eerie Tassili N'Ajjer, home to over 15,000 rock drawings that whisper secrets from 10,000 years ago, when the Sahara wasn't just sand and sun, but lush and teeming with life. These ancient artworks aren't just doodles, they're a peek into a green Sahara, complete with rituals and mystical ceremonies. Take the running horned woman, not your average cave drawing, but a figure decked out in horns and elaborate body paint, hinting at some serious ancient party vibes. Discovered in the 1930s by a curious French officer and later explored by the controversial archaeologist Henri Lot, these carvings got the world talking. From wild beasts to serene pastoral scenes, each etching tells a story of a changing world. How the desert once thrived before turning into the vast, dry land we know today.
There are other paintings of daily scenes from the same period. Of people dancing, people in boats on the river, people swimming and hunting scenes.
Now stamped as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, Tassili N'Ajjer's mysterious art is battling against time, erosion, and human threats, making its preservation a race against time. 4. The Cumberland Valley Caves in Tennessee, USA. You won't believe what lurks in the shadows of the Cumberland Valley Caves in Tennessee. These caves are practically a time machine, etched with some of the oldest cave paintings in North America. Think 6,000 years back. In 2013, Professor John Simek and his crew from the University of Tennessee stumbled into this ancient art gallery on the Cumberland Plateau. Inside, you'll find everything from wolves and foxes, which you don't usually see hanging out in open-air art, to mysterious human figures, all thrown into these dark, eerie caves. Now get this, they found not just any old sketches, but intricate symbols and critters that suggest these caves were the go-to spot for some serious ritual vibes back in the day. We're talking celestial circles, spiritual showdowns, and even a warrior with talon feet from the Mississippian period. And the plot thickens with their paint choice. Iron oxide for that chic, reddish hue. 5. La Marche Cave, France. Hidden near Lussac-les-Châteaux in France lies the eerie La Marche Cave, a place that has both baffled and freaked out scientists since its discovery in 1937. Over 1,500 slabs of limestone are etched with detailed human figures that'll make your skin crawl. We're talking lifelike faces, clothes, even shoes, all dating back a whopping 14,000 to 15,000 years. When these unsettlingly realistic paintings first appeared, they threw everyone for a loop. These weren't your typical prehistoric stick figures. They were so sophisticated that many experts just couldn't believe their eyes, sparking a wildfire of debates about whether our ancient ancestors could really pull off such advanced art. The controversy got so heated that even after famed archaeologist Henri Breuil confirmed their authenticity, whispers of modern forgeries lingered. Fast forward to the early 2000s, and boom, new studies finally put those doubts to rest, proving these creepy cave drawings were the real deal, offering a rare peek into the minds of early humans and their world. 6. Chauvet Cave, France. In 1994, a trio of explorers, Jean-Marie Chauvet, Eliette Brunel, and Christian Hilaire, stumbled into the Chauvet Cave in France, and oh boy, did they hit the jackpot.
Sealed shut for tens of thousands of years, this place was discovered by cavers in 1994.
Not just your usual cave stuff, but walls plastered with over 1,000 paintings dating back 36,000 years. We're talking horses, lions, and even rhinos that look like they could jump right off the rock. These weren't just stick figures either. The cave artists were way ahead of their time, using shading and perspective that'll make you question everything you thought about early human smarts.
This art is really linked, very closely linked to the cave.
And get this, some of these scenes are straight up action shots, rhinos locking horns, lions on the prowl. It's like a prehistoric action movie. But some doodles might even show a volcanic eruption they witnessed. How's that for a plot twist? Sorry folks, no tours. To keep them pristine, Chauvet Cave is off limits to the public. Instead, you can check out a replica, the Pont d'Arc Cavern, which is just as cool and doesn't risk the originals. 7. El Castillo Cave, Spain. Nestled in Cantabria, Spain, El Castillo Cave is no ordinary cave. Imagine stumbling upon a cave covered in art so old it blows your mind.
But it's also the oldest art that we have in Europe, dating to at least 41,000.
They're some of the oldest cave paintings in Europe, discovered way back in the early 20th century by archaeologist Hermilio Alcalde del Rio. This cave features nearly 300 figures, from hand stencils to red discs, and even paintings of bison, horses, and deer dancing on the walls. The star of the show? A red disc that's been dated back to at least 40,800 years using some fancy uranium-thorium dating. This means either early modern humans or Neanderthals were the OG artists here. 8. Sulawesi Cave, Indonesia. In the Maros Pangkep Karst complex of Sulawesi, Indonesia, lies Petakere Cave, a spooky spot with some of the world's oldest cave paintings. We're talking about artwork dating back around 40,000 years, discovered back in the 1950s, but only recently getting the full scientific spotlight. Imagine walking into a limestone cave and seeing hand stencils and wildlife sketches made by ancient humans. They used to think Europe had the monopoly on ancient art, but nope, these Indonesian cave walls tell a different story, challenging everything we thought we knew. Scientists used some fancy uranium series dating on the mineral crusts over these pigments, revealing they're at least 39,900 years old. Yep, that old. These images glimpse what was roaming around during the Paleolithic era, like the dwarf buffalo Anoa and the weird pig-like Babirusa. 9. Nawarla Gabarnmang, Australia. Deep in Arnhem Land, Australia, Nawarla Gabarnmang is a spine-chilling cave adorned with some of the oldest artwork known to mankind. Discovered in 2006 from the skies by Ray Ware and Chris Morgan, this eerie spot boasts cave paintings dating back over 28,000 years. Imagine that. Now here's where it gets really interesting. The cave itself is propped up by 36 stone pillars, eerily modified by ancient hands. They didn't just stop there, they reshaped pillars, yanked some out, and even widened the cave's entrance. It's like they were architects of the shadows, crafting their spooky abode over millennia. The cave ceiling? It's a canvas of ancient tales, with animals and human figures that seem to watch you. And get this, a charcoal drawing on a rock slab, also from 28,000 years ago, just sitting there. Layers upon layers of soil and ash whisper stories of continuous use, dating back up to 46,000 years. 10. Blombos Cave, South Africa. Nestled on South Africa's southern coast, about a stone's throw, 185 miles, east of Cape Town, lies the mysterious Blombos Cave. Discovered in 1991 by the eagle-eyed archaeologist Christopher Henshelwood, this cave is full of old-school cave paintings and artifacts that date back a whopping 100,000 years. So get this, inside they found a stone with a hashtag-like pattern scratched into it using red ochre. Yes, the social media symbol, but from 73,000 years ago.
A means to communicate, however enigmatically, to you and me, 100,000 years away.
It's the oldest piece of human doodling ever found, beating other discoveries by a whopping 30,000 years. Talk about being ahead of the curve. But wait, there's more. The cave also spilled the beans on early human genius, with shell beads, snazzy ochre-engraved tools, and more, proving these folks were not only surviving but thriving with flair. This cave's goodies suggest that sophisticated art and thinking kicked off way earlier than we thought, right here in Africa, and not just when humans strutted into Europe. 11. Drakensberg, South Africa. You might want to flick on a lamp for this one because Drakensberg, South Africa, isn't just your run-of-the-mill scenic spot. It's a deep dive into the mystical and mildly eerie world of ancient sandrock art. Nestled in the heart of the Ukalamba Drakensberg Park, these mountains hold over 30,000 rock paintings, some up to 8,000 years old, created by the Sand People, or Bushmen. Now, these aren't just simple sketches. We're talking about a whole gallery of humans, animals, and these wild figures called therianthropes, part human, part animal, believed to represent shamans merging with animal spirits during trance states. Yep, it sounds like something out of a supernatural thriller, but it's all about the sand's spiritual vibes with nature, where the earthly and the ethereal mix. What's more, these artworks were crafted with whatever was handy. Ochre, charcoal, even bird droppings, mixed up with animal fats and blood. Creepy but fascinating, right? And here's the kicker. All this spooky brilliance is why Drakensberg is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Scientists are still buzzing around, trying to decode more about the sand's ancient lifestyles and spiritual secrets. 12. La Pasiega Cave, Spain. In Spain, the La Pasiega Cave is downright bone-chilling with its ancient graffiti, dating back a whopping 64,000 years. Who do you think could pull off such early art? Neanderthals, that's who. These guys were scribbling away long before modern humans even showed up in Europe. Discovered back in 1911 by the eagle-eyed Hugo Obermeyer, this cave is like a prehistoric art gallery. It's got everything from hand stencils to a quirky ladder-shaped figure drawn up in red. Recent digs, armed with fancy uranium-thorium dating, revealed these pieces are older than we thought, like 20,000 years older. This shakes up the old schoolbook story, showing Neanderthals weren't just about hunting and grunting. They had brains buzzing with symbolic thoughts and a knack for the arts. Turns out, these ancient folks were sharing more than just survival tips. They were passing around culture. 13. Kapova Cave, Russia. In the southern Urals of Russia, there's this spooky cave called Kapova, also known as Shulgan Tash Cave. It is home to ancient and utterly spine-chilling cave paintings. Discovered back in 1959 by a bat-seeking zoologist named Alexander Ryumin, these artworks are not just old. They're ancient, dating from around 17,000 to 19,000 years ago. As Reumann delved deeper, searching for bats, he stumbled upon something extraordinary. Vivid red ochre murals of mammoths, horses, bison, and even rhinos. This was a monumental find, shattering the belief that such old art was exclusive to France and Spain. But hold up, here's the kicker. Among these images is a camel with 2 humps, something that shouldn't even be in the Urals back then. What were these Paleolithic artists up to? And with over 200 artworks tucked away far inside, above an underground river and a mysterious blue lake, Kapova isn't just another cave. It's a prehistoric enigma wrapped in a mystery. 14. Magura Cave, Bulgaria. In northwestern Bulgaria, just a stone's throw from the village of Rabisha, lies the eerie Magura Cave. This place is straight out of a thriller with its ancient cave paintings that send shivers down your spine. Dating back up to 8,000 years, these artworks offer a creepy peek into the lives of people who partied and maybe hunted right where you're standing. The cave stretches over a spooky 2.5 kilometers and features halls that sound like they're out of a legend, like the Triumphal Hall and the Cult Hall. The cave walls are covered in paintings made from bat guano. Yes, these drawings are far more than stick figures. They show intricate hunting scenes, mysterious rituals, and even an ancient solar calendar that goes back nearly 7,000 years, showing just how smart they were with astronomy and timekeeping. And it doesn't stop at the paintings. The cave is a treasure trove of spooky stalactites, stalagmites, and cave pearls, all nestled in a chilly but bearable 12 degrees Celsius. Discovered in 1959 and protected since 1960, Magura Cave is a spot you can only explore through guided tours, preserving its chilling secrets and ancient whispers. 15. Tadrart Akakis, Libya. In the vast stretches of the Libyan Sahara lies Tadrart Akakis, a place that's as eerie as it is awe-inspiring. This spot is famous for its ancient rock art, with creations dating back from 12,000 BCE to 100 CE. These aren't just scribbles in the sand, they're vivid depictions of early human life, showcasing everything from wild giraffes and elephants to scenes of humans dancing, hunting, and engaging in rituals.
These images are believed to have been painted some 5,000 years ago.
Discovered in the mid-20th century, the site quickly became a historical hotspot thanks to its finely detailed and realistic art. But here's where it gets spooky. The site has been under siege by vandals, and the political chaos in Libya isn't helping. Graffiti now scars some of the ancient art, threatening the preservation of these incredible windows into the past. Though Tadrart Akakis is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, it's a chilling reminder of how fragile our links to the past are and how desperately more safeguards are needed to protect these treasures. 16. Bhimbetka, India. In Madhya Pradesh, India, the Bhimbetka rock shelters are like stepping into a time machine. Discovered in 1957 by the eagle-eyed archaeologist V.S. Wakankar, these caves are a gallery of the ancient world, with art spanning a mind-boggling 30,000 years. Imagine walking where prehistoric people once did, under the same rocky ceilings they once painted. Over 750 shelters dot the landscape, and more than 500 boast paintings that tell tales of hunting, dancing, and mystical rituals in vibrant hues of red, white, and green. One standout piece? A massive mythical animal that's part boar, part bull, probably a superstar of ancient myths. These caves are a window into the minds of our ancestors, showcasing their deep connection to nature and knack for storytelling through art. Despite the wear of time and human interference, efforts are ramping up to keep these ancient doodles from fading away. Declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 2003, Bhimbetka is a profound peek into human history. 17. Kakadu National Park, Australia. Kakadu National Park in Australia is hiding some real historical treasures. We're talking about ancient cave paintings, some up to 20,000 years old, nestled in rock shelters like Ubur and Barangkui, Norlangi. These aren't just any scribbles, they're a window into the lives of the Aboriginal people who've lived here for millennia. It has an X-ray style painting that shows you the guts and bones of animals. Talk about a detailed anatomy class from the past. These artworks feature everyday life, from hunting escapades to mystical ceremonies, all crafted by people who knew their land and its creatures. There's the rainbow serpent, a major mythical player believed to shape the landscape, creating water holes and more. Then there's Namarkon, the lightning man, decked out with axes that could spark a storm any minute. But these paintings are under threat, with weathering and human activity nibbling away at them. Thankfully, efforts are underway to keep these stories safe for future generations. 18. Fiumane Cave, Italy. In the Lacini Hills near Verona, Italy, lies the Fiumane Cave, a spot that's both fascinating and a little spooky due to its ancient secrets. Discovered in 1964 and dug up in '88, this cave is home to Europe's oldest art, dating back a staggering 34,500 years. In 1999, archaeologists hit the jackpot when they found rock slabs covered in prehistoric paint jobs that had tumbled from the ceiling. These aren't just any doodles. They include vivid red and yellow ochre depictions of animals and a half-human, half-beast figure, possibly a shaman. These pieces aren't just old. They're some of the earliest figurative artworks in Europe, crafted by early modern humans during the Upper Paleolithic era. They give us a glimpse into the minds of our ancestors, revealing their deep dive into artistic and spiritual life using red ochre, a popular pigment that ties early human cultures across Europe together. These walls tell stories, from Neanderthals to modern humans, through changing cultures and ages. 19. Creswell Crags, UK. You're in for a spooky historical treat with this one. So, there's this gorge called Creswell Crags right on the edge between Nottinghamshire and Derbyshire in the UK. And guess what? It's stuffed with Britain's oldest cave paintings. Discovered back in 2003, these carvings literally throw us back into the Ice Age, and man, do they have a story to tell. Dr. Paul Bond, along with Professors Paul Pettit and Sergio Ripoll, was poking around Church Hole Cave when, boom, they found over 80 engravings. We're talking bison, reindeer, birds, the works. And get this, they're about 12,000 years old. That's like the oldest cave art in the UK. Not only are these drawings super old, but they also show that early Brits were not just chilling on the island. They were vibing with a whole European art trend. Now, Creswell Crags is all geared up with a museum and visitor center, so you can check out these spooky old scenes for yourself. 20. Las Gal, Somalia. Tucked away near Hargeisa in Somaliland, Las Gal isn't just any sight. It's a jaw-dropping glimpse back in time. These caves are the VIP lounge of ancient African rock art. Here's the scene. Cattle dressed to impress in ceremonial robes, hinting that these early folks really valued their livestock. You'll also spot giraffes, antelopes, and maybe even dogs, giving us the scoop on the local wildlife of the time. Humans pop up too, caught in the middle of worship and daily hustle, revealing a society that was anything but simple. Despite its wow factor, Las Gal has its share of drama. Thanks to its location in the lesser-known Somaliland, it struggles for recognition and conservation support. But with some help from the European Union, there's hope yet to keep this historical hotspot shining for generations to come. 21. Altamira Cave, Spain. Near Santillana del Mar in Cantabria, Spain, the Altamira Cave is a creepy cool spot with prehistoric art that's just as fascinating as it is mind-boggling. Discovered back in 1868 by a hunter, and later explored by Marcelino Sanz de Sautuola with his daughter Maria in 1879. These two were the first to realize they were staring at ancient masterpieces. Dating from around 36,000 to 14,000 years ago, the cave's walls are alive with vivid depictions of bison, horses, and deer, not to forget some eerie handprints. The show stealer? The polychrome ceiling, where colorful bison seem to pop out at you thanks to some clever contouring with natural pigments like charcoal and ochre. For a while, skeptics screamed forgery due to the painting's sophisticated flair. But when similar art popped up across Europe, everyone had to admit these were the real deal. While you can't waltz into the original cave anymore to preserve these ancient doodles, a replica at the nearby Altamira Museum lets you peek into our ancestors' artistic minds without risking the originals. 22. Cueva de las Manos, Argentina. In Santa Cruz, Argentina, lies the chilling Cueva de las Manos, a cave that takes you back in time with its ancient rock art. Discovered in the 19th century and studied deeply since 1949, this eerie spot showcases handprints and hunting scenes that date back between 9,000 and 13,000 years. That's not just old, it's mind-boggling. The cave's name, Cave of the Hands, comes from the hundreds of hand stencils plastered all over its walls. Early humans were blowing pigments through bones to leave behind ghostly hand silhouettes in hues of red, purple, white, and black. And it's not just hands. There are scenes of guanacos, think llamas, and hunters slinging bolas to snag their dinner. These paintings are a peek into the crafty minds of our ancient ancestors. Cueva de las Manos is so extraordinary that it scored a spot as a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1999, preserving this spooky slice of history for all to see. Don't wander too close after dark. 23. Karain Cave, Turkey. Near Antalya, Turkey, lies the spine-tingling Karain Cave, a real archaeological treasure trove that's been freaking out scientists since its discovery in 1946 by Professor Ismail Kilis Kökten. We're talking cave paintings from 20,000 years ago, with eerie animal figures, mystical human shapes, and weird abstract symbols that show just how savvy early humans were. Imagine wandering through this cave where humans have lived for over 500,000 years. Yep, it's one of the oldest crash pads in Anatolia. Digging around in there, archaeologists have turned up everything from ancient stone tools to a chunk of a Neanderthal skull. The cave's got remnants of extinct beasts like elephants and lions. Plus, its hillside spot was perfect for ancient folks to spy on prey and keep safe. Karain Cave isn't just a cave, it's a gateway to our ancient past, and boy, does it deserve to be kept safe. 24. Sandrock Art, Lesotho. Out in the rugged terrains of Lesotho, nestled near the bustling streets of Maseru, lies a hidden treasure that's not just old, it's ancient. We're talking about the Habarawana rock art site, folks. Vivid, eerie paintings are sprawled across rock shelters, showcasing animals, mythical beings, and scenes straight out of a ritual that might just transport you back in time. These aren't your average doodles. Crafted with natural pigments, these images date back a whopping 5,000 years, thanks to some nifty accelerator mass spectrometry tech. What's really wild? Among these spectral figures are therianthropes, half-human, half-beast entities believed to depict shamans in mid-trance, deep in conversation with the spirit world. 25. Serra da Capivara, Brazil. Brazil's Serra da Capivara National Park, which could be straight out of a mystery novel, contains some of the oldest cave paintings on Earth. The art dates back up to 35,000 years, maybe even 50,000, stirring up all kinds of debates among those science folks about when humans actually marched into the Americas. Discovered in 1973, this place is a real historical jackpot, with over 1,300 archaeological sites. The star of the show? Boqueirão da Pedra Furada. It houses hundreds of rock shelters, walls decked out with scenes of ancient day-to-day life. We're talking about hunting, rituals, and some pretty wild animal and human figures that tell tales of a time long gone. These aren't just doodles. They're sophisticated expressions of a complex society with its own beliefs and social structures. That's all for today's video, everyone. What are your thoughts? Which part of the newly discovered cave paintings fascinated or terrified you the most?